Okay, to start off, we're going back to the 1960s. I want to get into the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On March 28, 1968, Dr. King led a march through Memphis, Tennessee in support of a garbage workers' strike. However, on that day, the march disintegrated into rioting and looting. So the march was rescheduled for April 4th, 1968. But as we all know, Dr. King was assassinated that same day. And my first question for you, you were 14 or almost 14 in 1968. Do you remember anything in particular that happened here in the state of Maryland as a result of Dr. King's assassination?
Well, I remember a lot of things. I remember being 14 years old and being with my brothers at the stadium. They had a rally at the stadium, and hearing the announcement at the stadium about Dr. Martin Luther King getting killed. And it was sort of chaotic. There was a lot of stuff going on. There was shooting, there was fights going on, there was looting, just a lot of things going on. I remember the looting in particular, and I think during that time, a lot of people just took advantage of the situation because sort of it was during the civil rights struggle and the movement. And I think a lot of people just took advantage of that. It wasn't so much about the civil rights movement or anything like that, because I saw black stores being looted as well as white stores, and that was something I didn't understand. If the problem was that Martin Luther King got killed and he was a black man, I didn't understand why. Just everybody's store was getting looted and torn up, and it just was a mess. I remember downtown Baltimore, places were set afire. I remember Greenmount Avenue in the city, they pretty much set a whole block on fire. I remember a grocery store in particular that me and my brothers worked at. It was owned by some Jews. And I remember standing on my front steps of my parents' home, and I remember people running up the street with groceries and different things from that store. So needless to say, we didn't have a job after that because they couldn't open up this store anymore. So those are just some of the things that I remember. There's quite a bit of things going on. So, and I could sit here for a long period of time and talk about that stuff, but we'll sort of move past that. Okay.
Okay, number two, what were your feelings about it at the time, if you can remember?
I felt pretty sad due to the fact of what was going on at that time, and we had a leader in Dr. Martin Luther King that was trying to make some changes to how things were being done during that time, fought for blacks and civil rights, and to be struck down before his mission was complete. It wasn't a good feeling during that time.
Okay, moving on. There was an event called the Baltimore Riot of 1968, which began 2 days after his assassination. from April 6th to the April 14th. The governor of Maryland, Spiro T. Agnew, called out thousands of National Guards and 500 Maryland State Police. When this did not deter the riot, Agnew requested federal troops from President Lyndon B. Johnson. The riot resulted in 5,500 arrests, 3,488 were curfew violations, 955 for burglary, 655 for looting, 391 for assault, and 5 for arson. There were 7 deaths directly attributed to the riot. The damage was estimated at over $12 million in 1968 dollars. And question number 3, do you feel that the Baltimore riot of 1968 was the right decision in response to Dr. King's assassination? Or do you feel Dr. King's way would have been a better idea? And when I say that, in the way that he preached nonviolent ways, do you feel it should have been done in that manner? Or
No, I don't think that the riot was the answer to that. I think that if they believe in what Martin Luther King spoke about, then I feel like there was other ways to deal with the situation that was going on at that time. So no, I don't think the riot was the right answer to that.
Would you have participated in the riot if you were older? Did you know anybody that participated in this riot or any other that may not be as famous?
I'm sure a lot of people that I know participated in the riot. However, I wasn't out there
Why did they go in that room and cut that light on? And that
for the riots. It was at home. So, no, I don't know.
It's the only room. You wanted somebody going in?
You could have went upstairs. In the family room. Too late, man.
Go ahead, Sweat. Keep going.
From what you know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., do you feel his approach was better than Malcolm X, or were you more for Malcolm X, or do you feel they were both great in their own ways and beliefs?
I think that they both had ideas as to how they could deal with the civil rights issue. At that particular time, we had we didn't have a lot of rights, nor did we have any thing to combat that, but our voices. So I felt like that Martin Luther King's beliefs and strategies would work best for us at that particular time. Malcolm X was he was a little bit more physical. Didn't really talk much about really sitting down and trying to come up with a solution to the problem. He wanted to meet the problem head on, and then probably as you heard in some of his speeches where he says by any means necessary. So I think even at times he encouraged violence. So no, I didn't think it. Got a lot of respect for him as a person, but I didn't particularly agree with some of his methods.
Okay. After Dr. King's assassination and the Baltimore riot took place, do you remember any significant changes right away in Baltimore, good or bad?
Yeah, I remember that all the, there was no more segregation. Busing, black kids and white kids were going to the same schools. Um, Blacks and whites used the same water fountains, restrooms, dined at the same restaurants as their white counterparts. So, yeah, there was some significant changes.
Okay, and I think that's all I have for this interview. Thank you for your time.